China's global takeover continues. The communist nation poised to soon take over Kenya's largest port in Mombasa. China will reportedly take over the port after Kenya failed to pay back loans.
The Chinese government themselves say that is nonsense. Doesn't exist. Yeah, I am telling you, it doesn't exist.
It's not
all right.
like that.
You want a copy of the contract? My friend, I'll get it to you tomorrow. And if
the government is struggling to pay a 36 billion shilling debt owed to the Exim Bank of China that financed the construction of the Standard Gauge Railway. The principal payment is due by June this year. In May 2014, Kenya signed a 327 billion shilling deal with the Exim Bank of China to build a 385-kilometer modern railway between Mombasa and Nairobi. The loan was to be repaid in 15 years with a grace period of 5 years. Transport Cabinet Secretary James Macharia says the government is negotiating with the Exim Bank of China to allow it to access an escrow account that is holding 17 billion shillings. The escrow account taps the cash collected from operations of the railway line to help in repaying the loan. The Chinese bank holds substantial control of the account, especially at default when railway revenues fail to meet the loan obligations threshold. Financing of the SGR was structured into two phases, with the government financing 15% of the project cost and the Chinese government meeting the balance.
Joining me now is Fox Business National Security and Foreign Policy Analyst Dr. Waleed Phares. Let's first talk about what's happening in Kenya. I'm interested in this story because I used to cover Latin America. I've seen it happen a lot in little countries in Latin America, like Nicaragua, for example, where China came into Nicaragua, had these big plans that they were going to build a new canal to rival the Panama Canal. Went in there, made deals with all these corrupt officials, including the president, paid out the cash in bribes, then took all kinds of precious resources from the Nicaraguan country, brought it home, and then left without any canal being built. They have a tendency to do it. They're kind of like locusts and moving into countries, taking what they need, and then moving on.
You know, David, the big picture is very important to understand what's actually happening in Kenya and in the other countries that you have mentioned. While the United States is busy, super busy, with 4 active wars in the Middle East, with Iran, with North Korea, of course, containing Russia and, of course, our southern borders. A lot of stuff is happening. China is moving to the southern belt of the globe. That would be all of Latin America, Africa, we'll talk about Kenya, and South Asia. In addition to that, with Russia, they're interested now in the Arctic. So the tools that they have basically is, first of all, a lot of cash, a lot of money, and actual physical money that they can spend on countries that needs that money to pay off their debts. But second, also, technology. They can offer a very cheap technology to these countries. And thirdly, it is a superpower which has a veto power in the Security Council. So China is using all of this to be able to move in those areas.
You know, they offer the technology. That's a particularly interesting facet of all this. But the technology that they're offering is stuff that's made by Huawei and made by ZTE. And we know that a lot of those technologies have stuff built into them, these backdoor channels that allow them to spy on what's going on in those countries. That's the reason our intel agencies have convinced the government not to use it.